Hey guys, so Little Man and I are here. We're going to talk about the newest Conquest starting next week on Monday. So this is the Conquest that we are playing to earn Lufin, and the DATAMINed feats are out. So we're going to go through and do our planning like usual, and hopefully we will be all set for Monday. So before we hop in, though, and look at the feats, I do want to say, as usual, thank you to all of my patrons. Little Man and I really appreciate your support, and it does not go unnoticed. Okay, so let's look at these feats. So this is posted in the H&N Discord server, which is linked below, so you can get a copy. Here you go. You can get a copy there if you want to actually look at it in a readable format, since this isn't it, but we're going to go over all of the feats. It's data mined as usual from SWGOH events. Sig pulls everything through. So first thing I'm going to mention is he did double check this because the feats don't add up to what we're used to. So we are used to having 330 points in hard mode from just 3-starring every single node possible, and 334 points from the feats adding up. For a total of 664. Here we go. And then you can skip 34 points normally. For whatever reason, I'm guessing what the reason is, but they are adding up to 314 points for feats. So usually we get in Sector 3, the feats are worth 10 points each for the main sector feats. Thank you, honey. And for whatever reason, they are showing up as 5-point feats. So if this gets hot fixed, then status quo as normal, and we can carry on. We can skip 34 points. If this does not get fixed and this is intentional, that means we only have, for Red Crate, assuming they haven't lowered the points required, which I am guessing Sig would have seen in the data mine if that was the case. But assuming they haven't lowered it, that means we only have 14 points for wiggle room if they don't hot fix that. So keep that in mind when you're doing your planning. I expect that they would hot fix this because that seems like a pretty drastic change to make without any warning to the player base. The other thing that I want to point out, yes, here. The other thing that I want to point out as well with the feats, I don't know if this is coded correctly. This obviously was pulled from the data mine. Like I said, Sig double checked it. Yes. But the numbers seem low. And by that, I mean like defeating 35 enemies instead of 50 enemies, things like that. They just seem off. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, though, if that is the case and it is intentional. However, I'm just going to say don't be surprised if it wasn't intentional and we see the usual numbers show up all of a sudden on Monday. So fair warning. Okay, so let's talk about these feats. I'm just going to do it while we're going over the sectors as usual. All right, let's look at these teams and go over the feats. So I'm going to start with the global feats. So as usual, defeat at least 250 enemies on the golden challenge path. Again, if you don't know, that is the path that follows either the top or the bottom. It starts going up on the top and the nodes are ringed in like a yellowy gold hue. That is the challenge path. So you're just taking that and defeating 250 enemies there. Win 15 battles with Captain Rex surviving. Straightforward. Defeat 35 enemies with Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. Also straightforward. Sorry, he's in his jumper. Win 15 battles with Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan surviving. So those are the two new marquees that are, the lover boys to Queen Amidala. And then win 15 battles with at least 4 Gungans in your squad. That gets you the over-prepared, 1 consumable, and then you can complete a battle with that consumable active for the other 15 points. I think it's personally pretty generous that it's only 4 Gungans. And I also really like the fact that this doesn't say surviving. So definitely something to test right away on Monday. If they don't need to survive and you can just take in a GL as a leader and drag the 4 marquees along with you, that's fantastic. And it's only 15 battles. And then defeat 35 enemies with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, which gets you the booming voice data disc. And you have to equip that and call allies to assist with it 60 times to get the other 15 points. So like I said, really straightforward. A lot of these global teams that I'm going to show you I am going to also have them in the sectors as well because I like to double dip if possible. So just fair warning, if you see them twice, that's why. So Captain Rex surviving. I'm just going to stick him on a Phoenix squad. I like to have him on a Phoenix squad. It works really nicely against Inquisitors. It's kind of dirty how nicely it works against them, especially with some Zealous Ambition. They just wipe the team. So that is what I plan to do. You can also stick him as a 5th on your Clone Trooper team, like our standard Rex lead 501st team, and put him there, and that would work as well. Or you could stick him underneath a Rey lead because he's light side. He's going to get the damage immunity. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can get this done. Defeating 35 enemies with Jedi Knight Cal. Really straightforward. If you have Jedi Knight Cal, chances are you have a very good Jedi faction, and you're probably just going to put him with Jedi Master Luke because that is, in my opinion, the easiest way to get these feats done is just to spam his leadership ability or his ultimate ability and call people to assist that way, and have them land the kills. So just going to be calling Jedi Knight Cal and making my way through sectors with that, keeping in mind. The reason why I put Shock, Hermit Yoda, and Jolie Bindo here is because they all have a call to assist on their own abilities. Hi, buddy. Yes. They all have a call to assist on their own abilities. So if for whatever reason they can't use the leadership ability and call him that way, they could call to assist and hopefully have him land a kill shot that way. Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan surviving. As you can see, mine are not in relics, so they are going to be living with Rey, and I'm going to be monitoring the stamina on this team very carefully. So obviously with Rey, since they're light side, we're going to take advantage of the damage immunity that she's going to put them in. I'm going to probably also not start this until I have my data discs built up, especially because it's only, as of right now, 15 battles. So I'm going to want to have some survivability discs just so that they don't get wiped out and one shot immediately before we even get to take a turn. If that does happen, though, Visas is there to revive, and then Hermit Yoda just to health equalize and kind of keep them going and healthy, fingers crossed, and that again, 15 battles. Okay, 4 Gungans, like I said, I'm planning to throw them with a GL. I like Rey because of the damage immunity. They're all light side if they do need to survive. If they don't need to survive, then I would just use any GL that you have or any strong character that's going to be able to solo a node and drag your Gungans along, and don't worry about stamina. So again, that's something that we are going to want to test right away. And then Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, if you have him, I'm assuming you've also worked on an Imperial Remnant squad, so you can go with a full Imperial Remnant team if you want. He does need to land the kills, so keep that in mind. If you don't want to do that, you could also do something like a trail lead against, in particularly, Geos, so that they are kind of killing themselves off. Watt's going to put the tank tech on Luke, as usual. And then I put Thrawn there so that he could give the turn to Dark Trooper Moff Gideon for him to get the turn to get the kills in that way. So you're just going to want to make sure your Thrawn is modded decently fast so that he can go ahead of the enemy, or if you want to use a frenzy consumable and then time out and keep using it so that you can keep using the consumable and not worry about stamina, you could do something like that. Okay, so pretty straightforward for global feats. Let's look at Sector 1. So in Sector 1, we're going to want to defeat 35 enemies with light side Mandos, gain evasion up 50 times, defeat 35 enemies with Ewoks, and then win 10 battles with a full squad of resistance characters. So light side Mandos, I put this squad in. Obviously, if you have new bow, you're going to probably be using that because it is a considerably stronger team. If you don't, though, this is a squad that I was using on both my account, which is the squad I'm showing you right now, and Professor X before he got new bow as well. And it works really nicely against the Datacron nodes in Sector 1. Again, assuming they haven't changed those teams up on those Datacron nodes. But it does work nicely, and you can get them to survive. And again, depending on how strong your characters are and what data discs you have, you might want to manage your stamina. So don't go in, necessarily at 40%. But it does work, and I would go with that. And then if you do have new bow, like I was saying, you're probably going to do that anyway. Evasion up 50 times. I like Bad Batch here because Hunter and Echo both are able to give their squad evasion up. So you'll want to be using both of them, and they give it to all of their allies. And that way you can, get it relatively quickly that way. You're essentially going to get 10 a battle, give or take. And then I also have here with evasion up, you'll want to keep in mind that Han Solo has an evasion up on his second special, his Shrug. That's going to give evasion up to all of his allies as well. So you can put him on your regular rebel team, or you could take advantage and put him with Rey and another light side ally. And your and your 2 lover boy marquees here, and then you're going to double dip to that lover boy marquee survival feat from globals that way. So you could do that. Padawan Obi-Wan also has a Conquest Omicron that gives him and his allies a whole bunch of buffs and debuffs and all of this really ridiculous stuff. And pretty much every debuff or buff that's in here is in his Omicron. Almost all of them are. I'm not telling you to put it on. I'm not going to put it on. However, if you did want an easy button, you could do it. Like I said, it's on his unique, so it's not affected by if he's in the leader slot or anything like that. But that is your decision. I'm just letting you know that it's there. And then if you want to go with dark side characters, Darth Bane's leadership gives all of his allies evasion up at the start of the battle. And then Seven Sister also gives evasion up on her special that removes the stack of purge, which I believe is her second special. So she does have it as well. So if you want to go with a dark side team there. Okay, Ewoks. Obviously, you can go with a full set of Ewoks if you wanted to. Or you could do the Jedi Master Luke trick. This is pretty common if you have a light side character that you need to get kills with. So his leadership ability is going to be able to call Chirpa. And you'll be able to call him as well with Shock and Hermit Yoda. They have a call to assist. And you can just have the light side character there that you need. So in this case, Chirpa, or whatever Ewok, get the kills that way. I specifically chose Chief Chirpa because he's a support character. And the reason I did that is if there are Zealous Ambition discs, he's going to hit a lot harder when he takes his own turns anyway. Or if you do a call to assist with Shock and Hermit Yoda, instead of using Jedi Master Luke's protection as the damage dealer, and you're doing it based off the Zealous Ambition disc that way. So that is why I specifically chose him. And then Wat, obviously, to give a tank check to Luke. So really straightforward. And then full squad of resistance units. Again, you're going to take your best resistance squad, most likely. Keep in mind, if you have Ben Solo, he does not count as a resistance character. He's not tagged resistance. Do not put him on your team and then wonder why your resistance counter is not going up, because that is why. So those are the main sector feats. In terms of the mini boss and boss, you're going to have to do them both twice if you want to get both feats done. We can't double dip. On the mini boss, you need to defeat an enemy with Scout Trooper, and then you also need to win with only light side characters, so no double dipping. And then on the boss, win with Grand Admiral Thrawn surviving. Yes, we have to win with Thrawn surviving, and then win without using any Empire in the squad. So again, no double dipping. So let's look at Sector 2. In Sector 2, we need to defeat 35 enemies with Rebel fighter units. Pretty straightforward. Attempt to inflict potency down 50 times. Defeat 35 enemies with Imperial Trooper units. Yes. And win 10 battles with a full squad of Night Sister units. So Rebel fighters, I put a Rogue One team at the top. I absolutely love using them against Empire squads, especially if we do get Zealous Ambition, because they pretty much wipe the floor with them. Keep in mind, though, with this squad, Admiral Admiral Radis is not tagged Rebel Fighter. So if you do his AoE and he gets any kills that way, he's not going to help you out, but the rest of them will. Because of that, you could also do a Jedi Master Luke call to assist cheese of sorts. So again, Shaak Ti and Hermit Yoda, because of their call to assists on their specials, so that we can call Cassian more if needed. And then I specifically chose Cassian because he is support. So if we have Zealous Ambition and Cassian has to take a turn by himself, again, he will hopefully be able to hit a little bit harder that way. Okay, and then potency down, I went with Jedi Master Luke, and Grandmaster Yoda has potency down on his basics. So with this squad, I would just be calling Grandmaster Yoda to assist as much as possible. You can also bring in Padawan Obi-Wan here because he has potency down. It is on his basics. So you could call Padawan Obi-Wan to assist as well, which is why Shaak Ti is there, since she has the call to assist on her special. Or if he takes a turn with his basic, and you could just do his basic that way, and that would help you out there. And then if you really want to get crazy, you could do potency down with Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi-Wan surviving as well. So again, Rey, just to kind of keep them alive because of her leadership ability, potency down is coming from Obi-Wan specifically. And then the call to assist on Shaak and Hermit Yoda to call to assist on Obi-Wan so that he can get the potency downs going. You could sub out Shaak or Hermit Yoda if you wanted to for Grandmaster Yoda. I probably wouldn't personally, just because you're going to be able to heal with both of them and call to assist with both of them. So it's just a little bit of a more secure way to keep them surviving if you wanted to double dip, in my opinion. And then Imperial Troopers, I'm going with a standard Imperial Trooper Veers team. I'm not going to do a Moff. You don't want to do, you could do a Dark Trooper Moff Gideon squad if you wanted to. He is not tagged as an Imperial Trooper, so any kills you get with him would not count, which is why I'm just kind of leaving him out of the loop here. So Night Sisters are Night Sisters, and they're going to Night Sister their way through Conquest because they are badass. They're also all support and healer, so Zealous Ambition the crap out of them, and they will walk their way through, and they are tons of fun. And that's that. We're coming back. So in terms of the boss in Sector 2 and the mini boss in Sector 2, again, no double dipping. You have to do them both. If both of them twice if you want to get both feats. Here. So on the mini boss, you have to defeat an enemy with Sabine Wren, and then you also need to win with a full Galactic Republic squad surviving. So everyone on the team needs to win most likely, or survive, and then you need to win. And then on the boss, you need to win with Saw Gerrera surviving, and then you also need to win with a full squad of Empire units. All right, so Sector 3. Defeat 35 enemies with any Han. Straightforward. Win 10 battles with a full squad of Separatist units. Gain accuracy up 50 times. And then gain We Adapt or Die 50 times. So there isn't a lot of double dipping here, sadly. Okay, so in terms of, 10 battles with a full squad of Separatists, I pretty much always use a Grievous squad when I'm making my way through the sectors. I find them to be pretty durable, and it's just how it works. And then for gaining accuracy up 50 times, you can do a full Dark Trooper Moff Gideon team if you wanted, and that would also get you double dipping into the global feat where you need to get him to kill characters. Scout Trooper has accuracy up in her kit, so she's able to provide it that way. You can also do accuracy up with the Gungans here and have them survive that way. I believe it's Boomadir that has accuracy up in his kit. Yeah, so it is Boomadir. He does have accuracy up on his second special, and he just gives it to the target other Gungan ally. So it's just going to happen that way. But you would be able to double dip at least that way if you wanted to. You could also do accuracy up with Jedi Master Luke and calling to assist. Seer has it on her basic, so as long as she's the one getting the hits in, you're going to be gaining accuracy up that way as well. Gaining We Adapt or Die 50 times. This is from Iden. You can only get it through Iden. It's on her second special. She's going to give it to all of the everyone that's on her squad that's currently alive, and they will gain it that way. So you're going to want to go in most likely with a full Imperial Trooper squad that works with her and do it that way. And then, of course, you have your Hans. So defeating 35 enemies with any Han. These are all of the Hans you can choose from. Take your pick to make your squad. Probably going to go with, like your CLS squad or anything like that. Since they're all light side as well, you would be able to do the Jedi Master Luke thing and have him call them to get the kills in. Okay, so those are the main feats in Sector 3. Again, every one of these feats that I just went over is listed right now at 5 points each, which normally they are 10 points each, and I think that's why we're missing those 20 points of wiggle room. So if that gets hot fixed, we will be set. And if it doesn't get hot fixed, we're going to be tight. So in terms of the, mini boss and boss, again, can't double dip. You have to do them both twice. Mini boss, you need to win with a full squad of Galactic Republic Jedi. And then you also need to win without using any Jedi, Sith, or unaligned Force users. And then on the boss, winning with Boss Nass surviving, and then winning with only dark side characters. So pretty straightforward. Sector 4, you're going to win 10 battles with Stop surviving, gain shield up 50 times, attempt to inflict accuracy down 50 times, and then win 10 battles with a full squad of rebel units. In terms of Stop, I'm going to put him with a Grievous squad and see how this goes. It's the first Conquest that I will have him in relics for, so we'll see how it works. I think it will be fine though. In terms of if you don't have them in relics, you're obviously going to wait until you've got your discs set up to do this, because you're not going to want to go in beforehand and have him die without your discs being built. And then in terms of your squad, it's gonna, since you don't need to have a full Separatist team working for you necessarily, you might want to wait until you can go in with a team that can just solo the node, whether it's like a GL, like a Lord Vader thing or whatever, and that way you can just take a turn, kill everybody, and go that way. So keep that in mind. Shield up 50 times. This is a specific thing to Gungans. It's on the, I think it's Phalanges kit. So you're going to double dip here because you're going to do you're going to take all 4 of your Gungans with you if possible, so that you can get the global feat done that way. And then you just need to gain shield up 50 times. So it should be in Phalanx's kit here. And it's on the second special. This is where Gungan allies gain shield up for 2 turns. So that is literally the only character that can give shield up. You have to do it that way. All right. And then in terms of accuracy down 50 times, for some reason, this is not searchable as a debuff on .gg. So these were the 4 characters that I could find that have accuracy down. So Cad Bane has it on his basic. So keep that in mind. If you have like a Java, you could do a call to assist with him that way. Dr. Afra has it on one of her specials. 7th Sister has it on one of her specials. And then 8th Brother has it on one of his specials. 7th Sisters is based off how many stacks of Purge the enemy has. So you need to have at least 3 stacks of Purge before it will take effect. And then 8th Brother is an AoE evasion down. So he is the only one of these 4 that has an AoE. The other 3 are all single target only. So keep that in mind. Okay, and then Rebel wins. So 10 battles with a full squad of Rebel units. If you have Leia, this is going to work really nicely. You can throw Rex in as your 5th, and that will double dip into your Captain Rex surviving feat for globals. Otherwise, you could go ahead with your regular CLS squad, or you could do a Phoenix squad with Rex, and that also counts as a Rebel team because all of the Phoenix members are tagged as Rebels as well. And surprise, surprise, for mini boss and boss, we have to do both feats separately. No double dipping that way. So on the mini boss, new bow needs to survive for one fight, and the second one is only dark side characters on your team. On the boss, winning with Leia surviving, GL Leia, and then winning without using a galactic legend in your team as the other feat. Okay, Sector 5, and we are done. Attempt to inflict evasion down 50 times. Very straightforward. This is going to be pretty fast to get done. Defeat 35 enemies with Phoenix characters. Win 10 battles with Master Qui-Gon and Qui-Gon surviving, so old Qui-Gon. And then defeat 35 enemies with Bounty Hunter units. So evasion down, your typical CLS squad is going to pretty much rake through this because 3PO and Chewie have it on his basic. And since he is assisting so much when this team is going, you can rack up this evasion down pretty quickly that way. You can also do it with a Jedi Master Luke call to assist type thing. Bodhi Rook has it on his basic, funnily enough. So if you want to use Bodhi, you could. Obi-Wan, old Obi-Wan Kenobi has it on his basic as well. So you could call him to assist. And then Baby Cal has an AoE evasion down. So that is also something that you could keep in mind if you wanted to do it that way. I will most likely, though, just use CLS. It is a pretty quick way to get through it. 35 enemies with Phoenix characters. That's really straightforward. If you take a full Phoenix squad, you're going to be laughing. Throw Rex on there so you can double dip to your global team. And then, again, like I mentioned, this squad works really well against Inquisitors. It's quite fun, to be honest. And then 10 battles with Master Qui-Gon and Qui-Gon Jinn surviving. I figured if they both had to survive, if Master Qui-Gon was there, why not add Padawan Obi-Wan as well, so that you can double dip to your global feat under Rey. So hopefully they are surviving that way with her leadership ability, keeping them alive in the damage immunity. And then for safety, I brought in Visa so that she could revive them if things get really haywire. Obviously, if this isn't working in terms of double dipping, if your characters are like mine and just too weak, they don't survive, you don't have the right disc build up, I wouldn't worry about double dipping, and I would take Padawan Obi-Wan out and put in another healer, another heavy hitter, so that you're able to get through the node as quickly as possible and have them survive to get the 15 points for the feat that way. And then you have evasion down again, but also defeating 35 enemies with bounty hunters on your squad. So your straightforward Jabba team here is going to get evasion down because of Chrysanthemum. If they're all Hutt Cartel, Chrysanthemum's taunting, he's able to do evasion down on his basic that way. So keep in mind, and they're all tag bounty hunter except for Lando, so he won't count for any kills that way. You can also do evasion down with Zam. She's not a Hutt Cartel, so she wouldn't work with the Chrysanthemum bit. But if you wanted to throw Zam in there instead, you could, or you could do a full bounty hunter team and have Zam there. And Zam's got the AoE evasion down that way as well. So that's what I would do if you wanted to double dip that. I wouldn't personally worry about it, but. And then, again, surprise, surprise, we have to do the mini boss and the boss twice. On the mini boss, you need to win with General Veers in your squad, and then you also need to win with only light side characters on your team. And the boss, you need to win with Darth Bane surviving, and then you need to win without any Jedi, Sith, or unaligned Force users on your team as well. So, again, that's it. Those are all the feats. I'm sorry, it's a mouthful. Hopefully this is helpful, though, and you can kind of get an idea of what to work with. Again, the main thing to check is if the Gungans need to actually survive or not for that global feat. That we definitely want to check right away. And if they don't, we're going to be laughing. And then we also want to double check the number of enemies killed, etc., because it is lower than what it typically is. And then the key cards in Sector 3. So one thing that I'm thinking that I would do, if Conquest starts on Monday and Sector 3's points for the feats are not fixed yet and they're still listed at 5 for whatever reason, I would try not to complete those feats, because you don't want to get in a situation where they are going to hot fix it after the fact. And let's say you've completed it and you've only gotten 5 points, but then they hot fix it. Who knows if you'll get credit for those other 5 points that you didn't get originally. You know what I mean? So I would try to wait on completing those feats until we either know for sure that it is an intentional 5 point only, or they patch the hot fix through and we see them at 10 points and we're good to go. And hopefully they do this before Monday and it's not an issue at all. So like I said, guys, that's it. That's the plan. Hopefully this was helpful. And I will have the sector guides up next week, hopefully every single day. And then that way we can make our way through it. If all of this is accurate, though, and it doesn't change, assuming Sector 3 gets patched, I think this is actually going to be a pretty doable conquest. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you next week.